This is Helu from RHSV. The big story that everyone is talking about is the crisis in Ukraine. First, we will go over the background and then send it over to our reporters. The situation between Ukraine and Russia is over the control of the Crimean Peninsula. Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych wanted closer ties with Russia, and because of this was overthrown by the people. Currently, Russia has control of Crimea, but it is not recognized by the UN. Currently, Crimea doesn't have a say. Russian military has influenced their vote to their favor, which poorly reflects Crimean opinion. Now we take you over to Solomon, our field reporter in D.C.
In front of the Capitol in Washington, D.C. In recent weeks, the House has voted on sending a package of aid and sanctions in response to the crisis over the control of Crimea. The package was approved with an overwhelming majority vote of 378 to 34. This has been the first sign of bipartisanship after weeks of debate between Democrats and Republicans over how to best handle the situation. The legislation supports a $1 billion loan guarantee for the Kiev government, provides $150 million in aid to Ukraine and surrounding countries, and requires the U.S. State and Justice Departments to help the Kiev government recover assets amassed by corrupt Ukrainian officials. It also imposes economic sanctions, such as visa bans and asset freezes, against Russians and Ukrainians who have engaged in violence or human rights abuses in Ukraine. The Republicans have resisted the International Monetary Fund reforms sought by the White House, which has delayed the legislation. The Democrats have agreed to drop the IMF so the bill would pass more quickly. Many lawmakers would like Obama to take more drastic measures to punish Russia. Both branches of the government agree not to take any military action because the public does not approve of doing such. Thanks. Back to you.
Thank you, Solomon, for that interesting report on Congress. Now over to Brandon Washington.
This is Brandon Washington. President Obama is planning to meet President Petro Poroshenko of Ukraine during a trip to Europe next week. Obama's trip includes stops in Poland, which borders Ukraine, and Brussels, where a group of 7 nations summit will focus on Russia's incursion into Ukraine. President Obama offered Poroshenko full U.S. support as he seeks to unify and move his country forward. Obama also stressed the importance of quickly implementing the reforms necessary for Ukraine to bring the country together and develop a sustainable economy, attractive investment climate, and transparent and accountable government that is responsive to concerns and aspirations of all Ukrainians. Obama is also announcing several actions the U.S. will take to punish the Russian government. Obama explained 4 specific actions. First, he will sign an executive order that imposes sanctions on specific individuals responsible for undermining the sovereignty, territorial integrity, and government of Ukraine. Second, he will sign another executive order to expand the scope of the sanctions. Third, Obama will continue to maintain close relations with European allies. And finally, he will make clear that any more actions Russia takes against Ukraine will isolate Russia further. Right now, Obama is trying to act as a diplomat and keep peaceful relations with other countries. Thank you. Back to Helu.
Thank you, Brandon, for that intriguing report. Now over to Ross Melman with a report on American foreign policy and the elections in Crimea.
Hi, this is Ross Melman, and I'm in Ukraine. And regarding foreign policy, America and the United Nations refused to recognize Russia's acquisition of Crimea to be valid. As chief diplomat and commander-in-chief, President Obama has proposed many economic sanctions on Russia and some small amounts of economic and military aid to Ukraine to help them in this war. The main foreign policy goal for America is to avoid conflict while enforcing United Nations rules, because as part of the UN, we have to live by the same standards for everyone. It is a very tricky situation for our government because Russia refuses to back down in Ukraine. And the next foreign policy move is very unpredictable, and anything could happen in the upcoming days. Alright, now regarding the election that Ukraine apparently did to leave Crimea, their election was quite different from American elections. Russia organized the Crimean referendum, with there being no actual option to keep Crimea in Ukraine's possession under the current guidelines. And however, the UN has also refused to recognize it to be valid due to the presence of Russian troops at the election. It isn't fair if Russian troops have guns pointing at people voting. And the election somehow resulted in a 95% vote to join Russia. American polls are clearly more private and democratic. And also, there were no real campaigns either, so the whole election to join Russia is not valid at all. So hopefully things will be different in the upcoming days.
Although this crisis will likely not affect the 2016 election, America could avoid conflict by staying neutral. Another possible resolution is to work with the UN to defend Ukraine. We need to maintain our UN values and prevent Russia from breaking international law.
Let me get the out of my way. I'm hardly ever caught, and you about to get rid of.
Oh my God. My name is Brendan Washington, and
No, you're not!
Get out the way, get out the way, get out the way. Oh.
Damn it, Felton. Hello and welcome. This is Helu from... No, restart. Restart.
I'm here in front of the Capitol in Washington, D.C. In recent weeks, the House has voted on sending a package of aid.